Chapter 7. That night it began to rain. No, not rain, pour. And it was still pouring the next morning. The radio said, "It is a nor'easter," and the streets were full of water. That morning my mom drove my dad to work and then came home to drive Buddy, Carol Crane, and some of the other neighborhood kids to school. I went with her. I didn't go to school until the afternoon, so after we dropped everyone off, Mom and I drove up to Fairmount Avenue. The street looked like a huge river. Muddy water was rushing down it. Mom stopped the car at the corner. She didn't dare drive up to the sea of mud. "We'll get stuck for sure," she said. We looked up toward 26 Fairmount Avenue. What used to be the newly plowed backyard was roaring down into muddy streams on either side of the house into the street. "I hope the inside of the house is all right," Mom said. "We could take our shoes off and go see," I suggested. "I don't think so," Mom answered. "Your father will just have to check it when he gets home from work." I was disappointed. I thought it would be fun to squeeze through all the muddy water. That night, when my dad got home, he told us that everything was fine. "A little bit of muddy water went into the cellar, but it'll be easy to clean up," Dad said. "But the backyard, well, that's a different story. And the street, the city is going to have to redo the whole street. It's a mess." "Oh no," Mom said. I thought she might start to cry again, but she just said, "I guess that will mean waiting even longer to move into the house." I sure hoped not. I had just found out about guardian angels for months now. My grandfather Tom's sister, Aunt Nell, told me that if you wanted something really important, you could ask your guardian angel, and as long as it wasn't a bad thing, you'd probably get it. I figured now was the perfect time to talk to my guardian angel. And guess what? My guardian angel did come to the rescue. The rain stopped. The weather turned cold. Within a week, all the mud on Fairmount Avenue had frozen in place. Cars could go up the street again, and everyone went back to work on the house. Finally, the inside stairs were built. I could go upstairs and look at the bedrooms. I could go up to the attic. I could go down to the basement to look at the furnace and see where Mom's laundry room would be. Everything was happening quickly now. "Looks good," my dad told Buddy and me. "Next time you come here, it will be to move in right after New Year's Eve." Chapter 8. Right after New Year's Eve, but first we would have our last Christmas on Columbus Avenue. Dad put up the Santa Claus fireplace for the last time. It was made of cardboard. 26 Fairmount Avenue had a rear fireplace. Mom put the cotton snow on top of the Santa Claus fireplace and set up the Christmas village. We had a manger scene too. "Next year," Mom said, "we'll get a brand new manger scene with all new figures for our brand new house." On Christmas Eve, the neighbors came by for a party. Mrs. Crane was crying a little. "I'll miss you all next Christmas Eve here on Columbus Avenue," she sniffed. My dad gave her a hug. Carol Crane said she'd miss me, too. Mom said, "Well, you can just all come up the hill to 26 Fairmount Avenue." It was a great Christmas. Santa brought me an Uncle Wiggily game to go with my Uncle Wiggily books. I got a harmonica and a Jeep doll. The Jeep was an animal from the Popeye comics. Buddy got a catcher's mitt and a softball. We got lots of other things too. Carol Crane got an authentic Shirley Temple doll. It was so big and looked so real. I expected it to sing and dance. On Christmas Day, after church, we went to Tom and Nana's house for Christmas dinner. Uncle Charles was there too, as well as his best friend, Mickey Lynch. We didn't call him Mister. We had turkey and dressing and gravy. Well, Timothy, me Bucko, that's what Tom always called me. It won't be long before you're in that nice new house. I'll bet you're excited, Tom said. Excited? Tom was right. On New Year's Eve, my mom and dad got all dressed up like movie stars. Mom had on a long black evening gown with long gloves and silver shoes. Dad wore a tuxedo with a bow tie. They were going to the Wallingford Elks Club New Year's Eve dance with Uncle Charles and his girlfriend Viva. Mr. and Mrs. Crane were going to go too. Carol was going to stay with Buddy and me. Althea Morin came down from upstairs to take care of us. We were going to have our own New Year's Eve party. Mom left us brownies and cokes in the icebox. Mr. and Mrs. Crane gave us party hats and noisemakers to use at midnight. Gee, Buddy said, midnight sure takes a long time coming. I'm going to take a nap after I drink a Coke and eat some brownies. Carol, Althea, and I played my new Uncle Wiggily game. We listened to the radio. The doorbell rang. It was Mr. and Mrs. Morin, Althea's parents, from upstairs. They had a bowl of hot popcorn and some ice cream. To help celebrate, Mrs. Morin said. Mr. Morin tuned the radio to a program from a fancy nightclub in New York City. And now, the radio announcer said, for our entertainment, singing is the latest hit. The lilting voice of everyone's favorite Irish tenor, Morton Downey. Morton Downey was my mom's first cousin. I woke Buddy up. Cousin Morton is singing on the radio, I said. So what? Buddy said. Let me sleep. You miss New Year's, I said. I don't care, he said. There's ice cream. Okay, said Buddy. I'll get up. We put on our party hats, drank Cokes, and ate popcorn and ice cream. The radio announcer said, and now to Times Square, listen to the crowd. Folks, here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy 1940. We blew our noisemakers and shouted, Happy New Year! In just a few more days. Chapter 9. Everything was crazy. Mom and Dad were packing boxes, packing clothes, running around saying, Don't forget the clock, and which box does this go in? Here we are, Floss and Joe, some neighbors said, coming in the front door. Tell us what to do. Hi, boys, Uncle Charles called as he drove up in his car. Ready to go? We were going down to Wallingford for the days so we wouldn't be in the way. We were moving, actually moving. I wanted to help. I wanted to see everything. But think what a big surprise it will be to see your new house all fixed up, Mrs. Crane said to me. Well, maybe she was right. And I could see that Mom and Dad had a lot to do. Spending the day with Uncle Charles and Mickey Lynch was great. Uncle Charles bought us comic books. We visited Cousin Mabel and her husband, Cousin Bill Powers. We visited Aunt Nell. She made us sandwiches and tea with sugar and milk for lunch. Is it time to go yet? I asked when we finished eating. Not yet, Uncle Charles said. We went across the street to Tom and Nana's grocery store and spent the afternoon helping them. I put cans of food up on the shelf. Now, can we go? I asked. It was beginning to get dark. Soon, Uncle Charles told me. First, we are going to have supper. At Tom and Nana's house, we sat in the kitchen, eating at the big kitchen table. It was covered with an all-cloth tablecloth that had pineapples and other fruit on it. When can we go? I asked. When your mom calls, Tom said. Tom read me one of my comic books, and I played with the special wooden blocks that were kept in the sewing room. Tom, Buddy, Uncle Charles, and I played Chinese checkers. It was already dark outside. Telephone rang. I jumped up. All right, Nana said. I'll send them on their way. Buddy and I ran out to Uncle Charles' car. We picked up his girlfriend Viva and Mickey Lynch, and we were on our way through Yalesville, through Tracy, through South Meriden, onto Hanover Street. We turned up Highland Avenue. We drove up the long hill and turned right onto Fairmount Avenue. The lights were on by the front door of our house. We climbed the makeshift stairs. The rear stairs wouldn't be ready until spring. There on the wall beside the door was a black metal cutout of a tree branch with a of a squatter sitting on it. At the end of the branch was the number 26. Go ahead, Uncle Charles told me. Push the doorbell. I did. I heard the chimes ring. The door opened. There was Dad. There was Mom. Welcome home, they called. Here's your new house. I ran in. I ran up the stairs. I ran into my bedroom. There were 2 brand new beds, 2 brand new dressers, and on the wall, a mirror that looked like a ship's wheel. The beds were turned down, and there on the bed nearer the door were my pajamas. It was my bed. It was my room. It was my new house. It was my wonderful home, 26 Fairmount Avenue.